You're watching CSTV, award-winning innovation in broadcast television production.
From the corporate capitals of America, this is American Spotlight. American Spotlight travels behind the walls of industrial America, bringing to life the fascinating success stories of American business and its people. Discover the secrets that make America the industrial capital of the world, today on American Spotlight. And now, from Chicago, this is American Spotlight.
Today we learn the story of a Japanese company that literally came to the rescue of a U.S. business by getting it back on track and saving hundreds of Americans' jobs. The new company that resulted in the process is NGK Metals Corporation of Reading, Pennsylvania. As a producer of beryllium copper and other alloy products, NGK has found that the best way to operate the business is to combine the best of the old with the best of the new. And though it's Japanese-owned, the company is largely operated by a group of Americans who've been producing beryllium copper at the Reading plant since the 1930s. We'll go on location to the NGK Metals headquarters in Reading, Pennsylvania, to talk with President and CEO Hiroshi Tsukada and Ted Kurtyka, manager of non-strip operations, today's guests on American Spotlight. The production of beryllium copper is highly specialized. In fact, very few companies around the world are involved in this business, and only 2 are located in the United States. The superior properties of this metal alloy are being used by more and more industries. And correspondent Van King found that its use in many products has helped speed man's technological progress throughout the world.
Products using beryllium copper have contributed to many advances in electronics, as the demand for sophisticated equipment has increased in computers, telecommunications, instruments and controls, and other related fields. Beryllium copper plays an important role in commercial and military aircraft. Some commercial aircraft have close to 1,000 circuit breakers that include this alloy, and larger aircraft make use of beryllium copper bushings and bearings in landing gear. As computer and telecommunications equipment becomes smaller, more and more manufacturers use this alloy, not only for its reliability, but because it can be stamped into tiny parts. At home, you'll find beryllium copper in the switches, relays, and other devices in your washer and dryer, the microwave oven, even the television set you're watching right now. Don't worry, your set works fine. This just helps us prove how much we take reliability for granted. Our cars must also be reliable. Most automobiles today have 30 or more components that use beryllium copper. This alloy has an unusual combination of properties which have led to its use by industries ranging from electronics and electrical to aerospace and automotive. NGK Metals produces beryllium alloys in various forms, including strip, rod, bar, wire, extrusions, and castings, among others. To explain the increasing popularity of these alloys is NGK spokesman Al Cole.
Beryllium copper offers a unique combination of mechanical and physical properties which combine high-strength electrical and thermal conductivity and corrosion resistance characteristics that are not found in other copper-based alloys. Our products span a broad range of applications. This product here is a strip product, a rolled strip product, which basically goes into stamped connectors. And this product is a round rod product, which would go into cylindrical type connectors, which are used primarily in electronic computer and automotive applications. The other spectrum would be the hollow tubular products, such as we have here, which are used in aircraft landing gear bushing and oil well drilling type applications.
The world beryllium industry relies mainly on the mineral beryl as its source of beryllium metal, alloys, and compounds. The beryllium copper industry uses very small amounts of beryllium in combination with copper and carbon to produce this alloy. In its raw form, beryl ore is a hexagonal crystal, and this mineral has 2 close sisters you might be familiar with, the precious stones emerald and aquamarine. Now, even though beryllium was discovered way back in 1797, it wasn't until early in this century that man began developing a commercial process for the production of beryllium compounds, metals, and alloys. Even today, few companies around the world are involved in this business. In 1958, NGK Insulators of Nagoya, Japan, developed the manufacture of beryllium copper alloys in that country and is currently ranked Japan's top producer. In September 1986, NGK Insulators purchased the Beryllium Products business unit of Cabot Corporation, and a new company was formed, NGK Metals Corporation, based in Reading, Pennsylvania. First started in 1935, this 400,000 square foot plant is located just north of Reading. In addition, NGK operates a plant in Athens, Tennessee, and has production operations in Couronne, France, as well as warehouses and service centers in Oberursel, Germany, and Manchester, England. In the U.S., NGK supplies its products from 3 major service centers located in Elmsford, New York, Elkhart, Indiana, and Santa Fe Springs, California. These 3 facilities are supplemented by a national network of independent distributors. There are many stages involved in producing a coil of beryllium copper alloy strip. To explain the basic steps of the process, we spoke with Bill Lang, manager of primary and strip operations.
Production of beryllium copper strip in Reading begins with the production of our most important ingredient in our process, and that's beryllium copper master alloy. Master alloy is produced in the arc furnace, where beryllium oxide is reduced in the presence of copper and carbon in temperatures in excess of 3,500 degrees. The master alloy is then transported to the melt shop, where in the melt shop, the master alloy is alloyed to the customer's specification. The melt shop will then cast the specified alloy into ingots up to 24 foot in length. The ingots are then cut on a bandsaw operation for further processing in a hot mill. The hot mill will then break down the slabs that are cast in the melt shop for further breakdown rolling. The material then proceeds for further breakdown rolling in our cold mill. The cold mill operations entail a series of annealing, cleaning, and rolling operations to get down to the final gauge to the customer's specification. The material is then passed through either a heat treating process or a Zentimer rolling operation to produce material to the customer's temper specification. The final process in Reading for producing beryllium copper strip is then to clean the material through a chemical cleaning operation, proceed the material over inspection tables where the material is inspected 100% for any defects. After the material is inspected 100% and okayed for shipment, the material is then slit to the customer specification, packaged, and shipped.
While strip products make up a majority of NGK's business, this area of the plant is used to produce beryllium copper rod, wire, tubing, and bar stock. Here, the billets are cut and heated, then extruded through a die to form whatever shape is needed by the customer. Whatever form the finished good takes, be it strip, rod, or bar stock, more and more manufacturers around the world are using the unique properties of beryllium copper.
Much of the production equipment you just saw is either new to the plant floor or has been significantly upgraded as part of an ongoing program at NGK. Since the plant was purchased in 1986, more than $30 million in improvements have been made there. In addition to the facelift, the employees and management have also experienced positive changes. To learn how and why those changes were made, we now go on location to the NGK headquarters in Reading, Pennsylvania, with correspondent Van King. Van?
Thanks, Jacqui. We welcome again President and CEO Hiroshi Tsukada and Manager of Non-Strip Operations, Ted Kurtyka. Mr. Tsukada, NGK is no stranger to the Reading plant that it now owns. Tell us about the relationship that NGK formed with this plant back in the 1950s that eventually led to the purchase in 1986.
We are not a stranger here. In the last 30 years, NGK management people visited here many times and exchanged business information. The relationship between two companies became closer and more friendly. Also, NGK purchased technical know-how and raw materials from this plant. Also, I visited here several times, long before purchase date.
You say that the purpose of your acquisition was not necessarily profit-driven. What then were your objectives?
Expansion into the United States market is the major factor. At the same time, we want to maintain manufacturing operation here. Our purpose is to bring our new technology to this plant and demonstrate that Americans and Japanese can work successfully together by combining the best of both technologies and management styles.
We turn now to Ted Kurtyka, manager of non-strip operations. Ted, this plant is Japanese-owned, yet it's managed largely by Americans. What are some of the largest challenges involved in an arrangement like this?
We are of different cultural backgrounds and have differences in our approach to management. Working as a management team, we have the same objectives, but our methods in finding these objectives do differ. In the past 4 years, we've had a good relationship and have been very successful in meeting our goals.
Mr. Tsukada, the American employees say that the Japanese are slow to bring about change, yet you equate your methods to the story of the tortoise and the hare, that slow and sure will win the race. What exactly do you mean by that?
I believe the best ideas usually come from the people who have the good knowledge on a particular area of operation. Before making decisions, decision makers have to talk with the people involved. We need to make consensus as we develop our objectives. It takes time, but once decision is made, it is quickly accepted all over the organization.
Ted, NGK has instituted total quality control, which is a very successful management tool from Japan. Is it working here?
We are a customer-oriented company, and quality is most important in satisfying our customers. With the total quality control program we have now, we can meet our present goals and also our goals of the 21st century. With the joint management concept, we do deal with team work in all operations throughout the plant, from the president of the company down to the employee on the floor.
So everyone's involved in that process?
Everyone's involved, and the ultimate goal is to produce a consistent quality product.
In February of 1988, the local United Steelworkers Union agreed to an unprecedented 5-year contract. How is your relationship with the union today?
With the signing of this 5-year contract, union management relationships has improved significantly, and our employees have become very cooperative.
Thank you both. We'll talk again later. And now back to you, Jacqui.
Thanks, Van. In the mid-1980s, this Reading, Pennsylvania plant was in trouble, having lost much of its market share to America's other major producer of beryllium copper. Then in 1986, the Japanese conglomerate NGK Insulators purchased the plant for $45 million and gave it a second chance. The Japanese were met with open arms by the Reading area, and especially by the 500 employees whose jobs had been at stake. With that second chance came a lot of hard work. Van King has the story of what happened when East met West.
We didn't know whether we'd be able to overcome all these problems we were having, at the time. When NGK came here, I figured if they can't make it go, basically nobody will be able to make it go, because I don't think there would be any American company that could tolerate the losses that we were having.
It sure is interesting to learn how the Japanese think and work. It's been a good experience.
In most cases, human nature dictates that change be met with resistance. In the case of NGK Metals Corporation, change was definitely in order when the Japanese purchased this faltering American business. And while there has been some resistance, the changes have been met largely with enthusiasm. In fact, most of the locals couldn't be happier about what their friends from the Far East have done for this company. Nate DeLuca is a commissioner for the local Muhlenberg Township.
We're very happy. As township officials, we're always concerned with the health and welfare of the community, and we have a good tax base, which is a mixture of residential, commercial, and industrial. And of course, when we have a company that was in trouble, as NGK was, and a buyer came in, such as the Japanese, and bought the company and saved the jobs and saved the company, we were very happy with that.
Since the acquisition took place in 1986, the people of the Reading area have been enthusiastic about NGK and its plans to get the company back on track. But perhaps the greatest show of support came from the local 2317 of the United Steelworkers of America. In 1988, the union agreed to an unprecedented 5-year labor agreement with NGK. Union President Mo Vitalo represents 300 NGK workers.
Well, we wanted to show the Japanese that we wanted to give them a chance to get settled in. We wanted to prove to the foreign investor that the American labor movement can, be reasonable. And 5 years, economically, it was a sound move for the local union as well. There's a difference in the philosophy. There's no two ways about it, but I was impressed with the way those people, conduct themselves on the job. And all our employees are very happy, including myself, for the investment that NGK has put into the plant. Our people are more than willing to work and cooperate with the Japanese. We'd like to become #1 in the market again.
Industry analysts had criticized the previous owners of this plant for not keeping up with customer demands. NGK Metals set out to turn that situation around. They've already invested more than $30 million in upgraded or new production equipment. The sophistication offered by newer technologies is helping to address the quality and delivery problems that were part of the past. To describe some of the recent additions to the plant floor is Nate Gildersleeve.
The target in most upgrades like these is to get increased productivity and superior quality. The first thing we found ourselves with was a new strand annealing furnace, which was far superior in overall design to the previous annealing furnaces in many ways. But the more important and understandable ones, I think, are that the furnace is longer and it doesn't touch the material quite as often. A strand heat treating furnace carries some of those same principles. We don't touch it as often, and we run it through at a higher rate of speed. In the strand cleaning line, again, we've increased the length and reduced the number of variables in terms of how many pieces are running at the same time. Of course, also, we've improved our slitting capability. We have some very antiquated equipment until very recently. And so we're more capable of dealing with the much larger coils that people are asking for and holding the closer tolerances on the width that they've been demanding. And it's just going to get tighter as time goes on. So we'll keep going.
Dia will be explaining, for the first part of our session, our operation standards and process engineering standards. What we do every day, Dia is going to review, and he's going to explain to you why you're doing that.
NGK Metals has also been making substantial investments in its most valuable resource, its people. In addition to improved working conditions, the staff receives technical training. To explain how things are changing for the employees is Bill Lang.
Our Technical Education Committee, our mission is to provide continuing education to all our employees. We want all our employees to have the basics of metallurgy, and we also want all our employees to understand that when they go about their daily activities, why they're doing what they're doing. At the start of every shift, the foreman will get together with his people, and he'll review the key items for that particular day, what quality we're looking for, what productivity we're looking for, and any financial information that's available on that given day will be shared with all employees. Well, we have a fantastic employee exchange where we have Japanese engineer and manufacturing people coming here to the U.S., and we have U.S. managers and engineers going to Japan. Not only do we exchange technology, and we have a rather intense competition in this technology, but it's shared with great ease that we're to better each other's operations. Not only that, though, we have a very good social relationship.
This international exchange of ideas is intended to do more than improve the way business is done. It's an opportunity for the Japanese and the Americans to learn more about each other. Sharing and understanding cultural differences has led to mutual respect and a desire to succeed as a team.
The Japanese invested a lot of money into the plant and brought their technology with them, and they're committed to making a quality product.
I feel the Japanese have listened to the little guy. One of the hourly employees, listened to our input because we do work with it every day. I think we have good ideas.
Now we're working with process engineers and metallurgists, and it's really making a big difference in the quality of the metal. You can see it when you see the billets laying there.
Oh, we're seeing a lot more use of in-process data, information about the processes as they're happening, so we can react to them quickly and make positive changes.
We've kind of come up with, a fusion of these two approaches to doing business and managing an operation.
They knew that a view to the future was going to have to be based on quality and continuous improvement. So that's what they've done.
There can be cooperation. There's no two ways about it. I'm thoroughly convinced of that, and I think we're proving it right here at Local 2317.
Both the Japanese and the Americans agree that there is still much work to be done at the plant, but they're very encouraged by the positive changes that have already taken place. To learn more, again, we go on location to Reading, Pennsylvania. Mr. Tsukada, I understand that one of your employees said there used to be a negative momentum at this plant. What do you think helped to turn that feeling around?
We communicate our plan to our employees and keep them informed about the state of business. And also, they can see our major capital improvement we have made since 1986. Lastly, we encourage employee participation. For example, they are keeping data by themselves and solving their problems by themselves.
Given the many challenges that you faced to come here to live and work, how did you find the confidence to face the many challenges that existed at this plant?
I was instrumental in purchase of the similar business in Japan, and in NGK successfully made turnaround of that business. In this case, quite different country. Here, I was not sure, half confident, half concerned. For instance, I still have some language problem, even after 4 years.
Joining us now is NGK Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Bob Strock. With operations in several countries, how will your business play out in the international arena?
Well, that's very interesting. Of course, we're fortunate that we have manufacturing plants and distribution centers in the United States, Europe, and Japan. And of course, we recognize that we must take our manufacturing and distribution and customize it to the various cultures and methods of doing business that exist around the world. But all in all, our systems are capable of dealing with the, shall we say, the local uniqueness when that is demanded, or the worldwide uniformity when that is demanded.
Bob, as you look to the future, what will be the biggest market for NGK?
Well, most probably electronics. Our customers demand cost-effective materials produced to precise and consistent properties and dimensions. These requirements result in statistical process control, or an SPC program. Over the last 4 years, our Japanese and American colleagues have been working in the development of total quality control programs within NGK. These programs are the key to assuring ongoing commitment to the marketplace mandate in the future.
Mr. Tsukada, how do you foresee keeping the company successful with the people you have at hand? What will they bring to the picture?
Our employees have a long experience and much knowledge about the manufacture and sales of our products. They will need to add our unique technology to their skills and knowledge. We will provide them the opportunity and method for improving their skills. And the company will be able to efficiently utilize their strengths of workers or locations.
Mr. Tsukada, in closing, you must have a rather unique perspective on what it takes to be a success in American business today.
In short, working funds and capital equipment can be brought in by anybody. My philosophy is to keep the door open to all employees and to new ideas. Key point is to have everyone's involvement to produce a better and better quality product for the customers.
Thanks to our guests from NGK Metals Corporation, Hiroshi Tsukada, Bob Strock, and Ted Kurtyka. For Van King on location in Reading, Pennsylvania, I'm Jackie Bishop. See you next time.